G'day, Brett here, and welcome to Reliance Australia. Really excited today for episode number 2, and we're going to be talking about and showing some photos and video around building the shed. Look, I think a shed is really important for anyone that's not got property and looking to be a little bit more self-reliant. It gives you the space to build things, to create things, but also important to keep things and store them. Like obviously if you want to keep things for over the winter, or you just want to have things in storage. It also keeps things protected, and I think that's really important. If you've got land, you've got equipment, if you want to last, it's really important to have them protected. So anyway, we'll get stuck into it. So this is the groundwork being done. You can see a bit of a hole in the middle there. I've put some extra footing in for a hoist later on down the track. You'll also see some fencing that's had to come out along there. So there's a bit of prep work before the concreter came in and started, digging out to get the ground level. But we've got the plastic down, we've got the formwork up, we've got the steel reinforcing in, and you'll notice I do have plastic down. And the reason for that plastic is it stops the moisture being sucked up through the concrete, because concrete is porous. And down here particularly we do get a lot of rain, and in where that shed is positioned, a lot of rain will go through, and there's a lot of water sits there, especially over winter. So I didn't want moisture coming through, particularly if down the track, well, actually one of the plans was one of the bays will be converted into a hangout area for the kids, and so I want to put flooring down. And if I put carpet down, what will happen is that the moisture will suck up through the concrete and then just pretty much keep the carpet moist, and it'll just go mouldy and it'll just be terrible. But yeah, so that plastic there is essentially to stop the moisture wicking through the concrete constantly. But look, I was pretty excited when I saw it at this stage, and as you can see, there's the extra footings there for the 2 post hoist. And so essentially the shed's being fitted for the hoist, not fitted with the hoist at this particular point in time. It allows me to work on a car down the track when I get to the point of fitting a hoist, but also it could also come as storage if I have it like a trailer and a car that I want to store up there. I can put one above each other as opposed to back to back or side to side, and it's a far cheaper option than having to put extra concrete down and putting an extra bay onto the shed, which will make you go through building permits and all the rest of it. So I was pretty excited at this point. You can see the concrete going in. So it took a day essentially to get all the fencing out, and there's also a big blackberry bush there. Then another day with a bobcat to get the site leveled and get all the plastic down, the formwork up, and the steel in, and then then the next day the concreters came in. So I didn't do this shed myself. I actually had a professional shed builders come in. So there's a team that did the concreting, and then there's another team that came in and actually put it all up. So we've had a bit of rain overnight, but the slab is now done. You'll see the cuts are in place. We've put an extra cut into the slab, so instead of having one straight down the middle, we've put 2 across it, and that's so it actually spans across the extra concrete. I put the concrete in the middle there for in case future on down the track I want to put a hoist in. So unfortunately we had done the single cut down the middle, that would have split that pad right down the center of it. So we've gone either side of it, so now that pad is intact, which is really, really good. So the slab is done, nice and shiny, nice and flat, and just waiting for it to cure and harden up before we put the rest of the shed up. So all looking rather nice. Well, you can see the full moon in the sky there this morning. It is a lovely day as we pan around. But what you're going to see is that the slab is still there. It's been about a week now since the slab has been poured. It's been curing, so it's been really nice actually. It's looking really good. And I'm just bringing up some boxes now because today construction starts. I'm putting that frame and shed up. So we'll see what it's like at the end of the day. So as I said, I did get a professional shed building team to come in. Obviously there's a team that came through and did the concreting, and then another team that followed through a week later to start doing the construction work. And look, the reason for that is that, look, it was above my skill level, but also putting up a shed like this, it clearly takes more than one person. So as you saw, there's 3 guys doing the concreting, and there's a couple of guys actually doing the framework. So I was never going to be able to do this on my own, and especially not in the time frame. So these guys do it all very quickly. So essentially it took 3 days to get the slab done, and another 3 days to actually get the shed up. So it was all done very, very quickly. And I know there's some time in between. But look, I have to say I was very excited. It's something that I've been waiting for quite some time. It took a couple of years to actually get through it all. Well, end of day 1. Pretty excited. Look at that. The framework is up. We've got 2 walls on. I'm sure they can see a gap there, but I'm sure they'll cover that up. But here we go. Look at that. That looks pretty solid, doesn't it? Should duck underneath that. And so hopefully tomorrow, what we'll see, we should get another door going in that wall there, which is interesting that they've just don't have a metal frame for that. But anyway, it is what that is, and we should have another sliding door going there, glass one, and that will just be a solid panel there. And hopefully, actually they have told me that I'm not going to get a roof on, because so this sort of stuff, they are about 19 of those short apparently, so that's going to be a little bit awkward. So this is the outside of the wall. Yeah, she's pretty high, about 3.5 metres up. This is the end of it. She looks pretty good. There will be a door just in there though. Yeah, watching the build go up, it was pretty exciting. And as I mentioned, I did have a professional team come and do this. And I'm not sure about the rest of you out in YouTube land, but I find a lot of the projects that I have around the property can take some time, because I'm balancing that between work. I'm also balancing between taking kids to and from sport and just life in general. So to actually watch a project like this, and it's a significant project, go through so quickly was pretty exciting. So at the end of day 1, we had 2 walls up, and the entire frame was up except for a few of the top hats that go across the top, because it did come as a kit and arrived on the property as a kit, and there's about 19 pieces that weren't there, so they actually probably did take longer. They probably could have put it up in 2 days, I think, if they had have had all the pieces there, but they had to finish up a bit early on the first day as a result of that. Shed with a view. For those who are wondering about the dimensions of the shed, and like I think a lot of people do wonder what size is the best size to get. I think the guy who was selling me the shed at the time, he said you can never go too big. So there's probably some truth to that, especially when you're on property and you want to be storing equipment around the place, because there's always, as you learn stuff and get more comfortable with the property, you start getting more equipment, and you also then want to keep that undercover so it lasts forever. There we go, day 3. Construction has finished yesterday, actually finished late last night, or early evening, whichever way you want to go, but it's definitely in the dark. The shed is now complete. Got the 2 roller doors in, 2 bays there. So today we'll go inside and have a look, because it's all pretty nice inside here. But you notice there's a lot of rubbish still, so I now need to clean the side up. The guys did finish late into the night, so in the dark, so anyway, that is what it is. But it is all good. Doors are up, got some insulation up under the roof there, because it can get hot down here in southern parts of Australia. So hopefully today we'll get it all cleaned out and start moving some gear in. So before we moved the gear in, after we cleaned it out, I then sealed the floor, because I really wanted to have a floor that was sealed and wouldn't soak up, mud coming in, oil dropping onto the floor, whatever it's going to be, because quite often that happens in sheds. You want to work in them, but I also like to have a nice clean floor. For those that are wondering, the dimensions of the shed are, it's 14.4 metres long. It's actually 7.5 metres deep, so from the where the doors are to the back wall, and 4.2 metres to the apex. So pretty much 3.6 metres from the ground up to where the gutters are. Really, really happy with the result. Great shed. Really happy with the way the floor has come up as well. It's nice and solid. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and thanks for joining us here. See you next time.